Good morning, Paula.
Good morning.
Are we still all in for 2025?
We are. We are. It may not be easy, but we are. And I think today it is all about understanding the I don't even want to I don't even want to use the word balance, but it is all about prioritizing and recognizing that to be all in, sometimes you gotta look at the schedule and realize maybe you're doing too much or you're overloaded and what needs to come first. So yes, I'm still all in.
I'm glad to hear that. I just got back from vacation. Obviously, last
Yes.
week I sent a sunset picture for our all-in moment about, taking time for rest. But
Yes.
it's 7:30 in the morning. I'm just telling everybody that this
Yeah.
is how early we got up because we're committed to doing this all-in thing. So no excuses.
Yes.
It's we don't have makeup on. We're like just trying to get our day going on this sort of dreary, rainy day today, but we're here.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the
And it's a
important thing.
priority. It's a
It's a
priority. And so I think that's the thing that sometimes is very hard when you think about going all in and doing the things is there's lots of things that come your way. And I was just saying, I look at my calendar and I have all these things and a lot of it's not business related. And so it's trying to understand why am I giving my time to certain things and I've got to prioritize. I really have to make sure the calendar is very clear and my time is clear. And this is one of those things that, is a priority. So to your point, right? We are up early getting this done because it is a priority and everything that we do really should be that kind of focus day in and day out.
I think that, in my past business life before, I would say before COVID, because after COVID, I feel like I got a little off track on my schedule and just all the
Yeah.
things. I was very, very, very diligent about creating time blocks for things and being very protective of them and
Yeah.
making sure that if I had blocked time for a particular thing and I would get the stuff done I needed to get done and I wouldn't feel stressed. And
Yeah.
being most of my career has been as a musician, so I'm always project managing or I'm always doing some next performance or gig or production. And so I had to because I was also dealing with a lot of other people and a lot of other people's
Yeah.
logistical schedules. And so I worked really hard at blocking time
Yeah.
in this new business of mine, just since probably 2023, maybe 24. um, I haven't been as good at that. And I've been
Yeah.
trying to figure out why. Like, why am I not staying really true to blocking time? And this week I actually did it. I actually looked at my schedule and I was like, I have a pretty exciting speaking engagement on Friday that I'm really excited about. And I need time. And so
Yeah.
I went
Yeah.
through and I blocked times and I had like three different people come at me wanting to get together this week. And I said no to all of them and
Hmm.
I pushed them
Hmm.
off all to next week
Yep.
because I
Yep.
was like, this is not push them off, but I mean, I made
Yeah.
time, but
Yeah.
I made sure that I honored what I had, what I knew I needed to do for myself. And I kept saying this in my head: don't let yourself down, Cassandra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't let yourself down.
That's good. Yeah. 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 I love that. And and I think it's so funny. It's kind of the same thing happened to me. And it really is about, people wanting to get together and that's great and it's wonderful. But I looked at my calendar this week and did the same thing. There's no way. There's literally no way. And I just said I cannot this week, but maybe in the week next week, here's some times and days, or the following week. But being very clear, you can't add one more thing. And to your point, when there are things that you have upcoming, you have to have the focus. You got to have the focus. And I think sometimes I love that. Like, don't let yourself down. I look back and say, why did I spend so much time on whatever it is? And I'm just gonna say this about even block time. I'm usually good at it, but for some reason, I keep blocking my time and I don't do what I'm supposed to do when the time comes. And so now I have to get very intentional and focused on that. And I'm going to tell you something. So last week, I'm leading a cohort right now of leaders, and we did the Strength Finders and assessment. And one of the things that I was reminded is what some of my strengths are. And one of my things that my strength is not is focus. Now, let me just say this. That's my word for the year. And I am really low on focus as a strength. And it literally, made me say, "Oh my gosh." And it's not that I can't get things done but that's just not a strength of mine. And so this is why I'm realizing it's just a little bit harder for me to get focused because I'm not passionate about it. I'm all about relationships and people. That is what I am good at. And so that was a really good reminder for me is let's not beat yourself up. Um, just work a little bit harder at it to recognize to get some things done. You do have to do some things a little bit differently. So I wanted to make sure people understand that is there's sometimes there's things that we know we want to do, but maybe it's not a strength, and that's okay. That's okay. The power is understanding it, giving yourself a little bit of grace, and doing the best that you can when you can.
Well, my words are still peace and consistency, right? So peace, I got a lot of peace last week in front of the ocean, which was wonderful, and saw
Mhm.
lots of whales, and that was amazing. We had beautiful weather. And
Yeah.
I sat there and I thought I was very unmotivated to work, which was a good thing because I was trying to
Yes.
just take
Be.
some time and clear the
Yeah.
mechanism, so to speak. But I am finding that there's a there's a there was a show years ago called Inside the, well, I think maybe it's still on. I don't even know. It's called Inside the Actor Studio. And
Hmm.
it's where they would ask questions to, actors, directors, musicians about process, about their journey. And there was one particular musician who was on there, and the question was asked, do you always only write songs when you're inspired?
Hmm.
And he said, no. He said, what I've learned is that the important piece is showing up at the piano.
Mhm. Yeah.
And as a musician, even though I'm a coach and I do a lot of coaching with leaders and entrepreneurs and, teams, I find so much of my music life and career and practice
Yeah.
translates into everything that I teach people on the other side. And showing up at the page, showing up at the piano, showing up at the
Yeah.
at the moment, um, is piece one for me. It's like if I get in the process of creating, or I at least show up to
Yeah.
create, man, I go to town. I love creating things.
Yeah.
And but it's sometimes it's like giving yourself the time and permission to dive into that sometimes.
Yeah. Yep.
And I had a coach years ago, one of the best voice coaches I'd ever had in my life, and she didn't just teach you about singing and performing and mastering technique. She actually taught you about how to design your career as a
Mhm.
singer. And one of the things that she used to say was you need productive days, buffer days, and then you need like creative days.
Yeah.
And her whole concept was if you don't clear your mind of all the extraneous list of things that you need to
Yeah.
get done business wise, then it's very, very hard to focus on the things that really actually bring you joy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
practice and
Yeah.
dream
Yeah.
and vision. So if we
Yeah.
get bogged down on that. And I think to your point, creating a schedule that doesn't support that. Like I used to have specific times where I would just get my list done. And I did that yesterday,
Yeah.
actually. I got knocked out a whole bunch of stuff. But I knew what my week was looking like. But I got
Yeah.
my list done and I was like, oh, this is how I used to operate. And something about going away for the week and just being, kind of resetting helped me realize that I wasn't setting myself up for success.
Yeah.
whatever success means to you, right? But I wasn't setting myself up to feel that sense of, okay, I got that accomplished. Now I can just dive into working on my talk that I'm doing on Friday, or I can dive into working
Yeah.
on whatever I have coming up and enjoy that instead of feeling like it's another thing on my list of things to do that I got to get done and get it over with.
Yeah. I love that. Here's what I'll just say this as we kind of wrap up here. One of the things that is so important about the blocking of the time is being intentional. And unfortunately, somebody's at my door, and I knew this was going to happen. So we're gonna have to wrap up today because somebody's at my door. Yes, this early. All right, you all, please go out there and prioritize. Please. All right. Have a good one.
All right, stay all in 2025. Bye.
All right. Bye.